NCAA sponsors 92 national championships in 24 sports across 3 divisions each year. We cheer for the 500,000 student athletes in the game and in the classroom. For more information or to find a championship near you, visit ncaa.com. The NCAA thanks our corporate champions AT&T, Capital One, and Coca-Cola, and our corporate partners Buffalo Wild Wings, Geico, Ray Clips, Home Depot, Intuit TurboTax, Invesco QQQ, Marriott, Pizza Hut, Reese's, Ritz, Samsung Gallery, Unilever, and Wendy's. Their support enhances NCAA championships and the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. The NCAA thanks official equipment suppliers Fiskars, Gilman Gear, Pearl Lacrosse Balls, and Smitty's official apparels for their support of NCAA championships. Their contributions help enhance the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. Do you plan to play college sports? Visit ncaa.org/playcollegesports to learn more about NCAA eligibility requirements. We're all on the same team, and we all play a role in keeping our community safe. While you're watching the game, keep an eye out for suspicious activity. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities. Together, we can protect our community. Good day and welcome to the Holy Family Intramural and Athletic Complex for today's NCAA Division II Men's Lacrosse first round featuring the Flagler College Saints and the University of Tampa Spartans. The University of Tampa and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation in supporting the student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Respect, it's the name of the game. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats to honor America and those who support our freedom abroad. Performing the Star Spangled Banner will be University of Tampa sophomore Bailey Browns.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that her flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now here are today's starting lineups, beginning with the Flagler College Saints. On defense, number 2, Peyton Maxwell. Number 14, Ty Scheckenbach. And number 41, Mackay Nelson. The midfielders are number 24, Brendan Watson. Number 77, Tyler Hayden. And number 97, Gordon Ogden. Attackers are number 11, Micah Quinn. Number 27, Will Lincoln. And number 29, Ben Nyberg. And goal for the Saints is number 88, Jonas Smith. The Saints are coached by Brian Duncan, assisted by Tim King, James Foote, Efren Gutierrez, Neil Rudden, and J.J. Pearl. And now, here are the starters for the University of Tampa Spartans. Defenders are number 10, Gordy Gombo. Number 14, Robert Demmer. Midfielders are number 6, Gary Poland. Number 8, Tom Ratura. Number 24, Conley Stone. And number 70, Michael Thomas. Attackers are number 13, Jackson Bashaw. Number 53, Rex Kesselring. And number 66, Eric Burbank. In goal for the Spartans is number 60, Kyle Raleigh. The Spartans are led by J.B. Clark, assisted by Ryan Sullivan, Jay Goldsmith, Scott Bramble, and Michael Flores. Today's officials are Christopher Vahey, Rob Kavanaugh, and Eric Applegate. As a reminder to all spectators, please be alert at all times during today's game. Lacrosse balls can accidentally fly into the seating areas. Be alert to the action. The NCAA and the University of Tampa want everyone to have a safe and enjoyable time at today's game. Thank you.
Good afternoon from the Lowly Family Athletic Intramural Complex on the grounds of the University of Tampa campus. This afternoon, the Tampa Spartans playing host to the Flagler College Saints. I'm Bruce Wozniak, joined by Taylor Stolworthy, as the number 2 Spartans host Flagler, traveling down from St. Augustine. The Spartans come in having won 11 in a row. They are 18-1 in the one-loss column. Flagler has won 3 in a row. They're 12-5. They've won 7 of their last 8. Their only loss was a 1-goal decision And Taylor, I don't want to do the commentator's curse and say, so we should be in for a close one today, because I feel like you and I have seen some games recently where we anticipated that. And wow, this Spartans team, they can just really step on the gas when all things are firing on all cylinders.
They certainly can, and you know, since coming to the Spartans, J.B. Clark has done incredible things to our program. We were already one of the best teams in our region, one of the best teams in the nation, but with Clark at the helm, this team has gone from a contender to the top dog throughout all of D2 lacrosse. 3 out of the last 4 years have seen the Spartans reach at least the Final Four, including their first program national championship in 2022. And it's hustle plays like that after losing the face-off, winning the ball back, that is a staple of a Clark defense.
You see the Spartans in all white going from right to left. Flagler in their, dare I say, yellow uniforms going from left to right. The Spartans will be shooting against starting goaltender Jonah Smith. And down at the other end of the field, when Flagler is on offense, the Spartans starting goaltender this afternoon is Kyle Raleigh. As you see, Tampa with a shot by Green. He scores just like that. Grant Green, 49 seconds into the game, and the Spartans get on the board first.
Huge goal for the Spartans. Flagler have already played a tournament game, and it was a very defensive affair. 7-6 ended in overtime with the Saints punching a win in California against the host Concordia Irvine, but maybe more of a shootout today. Tampa, a team that can get on the board early, just like Green did again.
Yeah, 7-6 in overtime. That's not a lot of offense in 4+ quarters, and we've seen a Tampa offense that can absolutely go lights out on the scoreboard. So the Saints might find themselves in a little bit of a different game. At the same time, I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction to a goal coming in the game's first minute. But as I said, this is a very high-octane Spartans offense that we've seen. And now you see Tampa in possession here again.
Yeah, and speaking of that offense, Tampa have very rarely been held to low score lines. Only Florida Tech kept Tampa below 10 goals in a game. The Spartans still came out on top 6-5. Also, Flagler did in their earlier matchup.
Saw Aaron Cho go down, and now he sends it over to the other side of the field. Picked up by Green, the goal scorer. Green gets across the Flagler line, leaves it back for Cho, wants to shoot, does, and it goes out of play. You saw Jonah Smith get a piece of that one. The Spartans averaged 13.4 goals per game coming into today. Cho looking for a second, takes a long shot, and a nice stop there by Smith. Ball rolls almost to midfield, and now picked up by the Saints. Flagler looking to get their first shot on Kyle Raleigh. They did have a trip down the field off the opening faceoff, but not to the extent of any kind of controlled possession where they were able to get a shot on goal.
I like the hit from Mitchell Lynch after the Cho shot. You know, might have been a little aggressive at the end of the play, but it prevented Cho from being in range for the rebound, allowing the Saints to go on the attack.
And behind the Saints net, the Spartans net, Saints have it back there, and they try up top, and a reset as Moore will back up and await his options. Looking to go one-on-one here. Tried to get past Noah Driggs. End up sending a pass into the corner. And now it comes back to the near side. Linko takes it into the corner, being watched by Driggs. Linko, not sure if that was a shot attempt from a crazy angle or if there was a teammate he was intending to pass to, but in any case, Flagler retains possession. Only 15 on the shot clock, however. Going to have to move quickly here. Up top. And let's see if there's some clock awareness. There's a bounce shot that's going to miss and go out of play, and the shot clock will expire, and that will be turned over. I'm not sure that Flagler was entirely aware of the shot clock. I'm not sure they were communicating with each other well enough if they were aware.
Yeah, they did get a shot off, but you kind of feel like you might want to try to build a better look. Got to give credit to the Spartans defense. They're comfortable with a slow style of play, even if like you said, Bruce, they're a team that likes to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, when I had said there were 15 seconds left on the shot clock, that was still plenty to get a quality scoring chance, and I don't feel that they created that for themselves.
Whether that's miscommunication or lockdown defense, I think that's a question that'll get settled the next Saints possession.
It's White. On the far side, White a pass behind the Saints net. It's Kesselring back there. Kesselring looking in front. Lots of Saints players there. And Kesselring to White and a long shot. And Smith got a piece of that one. And the Saints able to come away with it.
Scary spot for Jonas Smith to be in, missing the ground ball on his first hit attempt, but gets it on the second. That's a good save on the play. Kesselring finding the open shooter.
And here comes Flagler. They gave up the game's first goal just 49 seconds in. Getting their personnel set. And they try to fool Kyle Raleigh. Not really sure about that decision, but in any case, the Spartans will take it. And an opportunity to head back the other way and build on their lead. Here's Green, the goal scorer. Quick pass. Nice passing by the Spartans, but unable to find the handle and get a shot away was Jackson Bashaw. Ball is still loose and picked up on the far side by Tommy Ortega. Here comes Tampa. They got numbers. And a pass that's knocked down. And the goaltender Smith, trying to weave his way through traffic, gets it up ahead.
Flag on the field, so Flagler can continue this attack. They'll get a man-up advantage unless they score at the end of the play.
That's Quinn. Pass for Nyberg. Saints make a personnel change. And there's a shot taken by Griffin Moore. And happy Mother's Day, by the way. A lot of people have chosen to spend their Mother's Day here in the stands. A good turnout on this 90-degree Sunday afternoon. As 5 minutes, 57 seconds into the first quarter, we're going to have the first call. And Taylor, as you mentioned, goes against the Spartans.
Tampa penalty to number 13.
Going to go against Jackson Bashaw.
It is a 1 minute penalty.
1 minute penalty, so a chance now for the Saints with the extra man to tie the game. Gaudette sends it up top, gets it right back to the corner, and now behind the Spartans net. Quick passing by the Saints. Gaudette again up top. McDonald. So Gaudette took the shot, and Sam Forte deflected it before it could even start on its way towards the net. You saw a lot of play on the far side. And Moore putting it back in for Flagler. Back to this side to Gaudette, to the corner, and behind the net. 25 on the penalty against Bashaw. Top changing hands, and there's a shot by Pilla. And the Spartans not only shut it down, but they should be able to kill off the rest of this penalty. Only 6 seconds left. So a successful stand by Tampa. He's backing up Josh Wheatsman. And back at full strength now. Burbank takes it down low. That was Friend, and to the far side of the field. And now Tampa seems set in the personnel that they want out there. White returns the pass. And the move is Vera. Vera, second defender, slides over to help out. White with it now. White couldn't get the shot away. Quick pass down low and into the corner. Burbank skips out in front. And a nice job here by the Flagler defense. They are not giving the Spartans any looks inside. Vera, Burbank, waited for the defender to go. A nice shot. And a good stop there by the Flagler defense.
That might be save the game already out of Jonas Smith. A perfect deke on the fake shot attempt from the Spartan attacker. But he comes up with the stop, and the defense finally collapses in after the first shot to get the rebound. That's exactly what you're looking for the Spartans attack, Bruce, because you're going to need good placed open space like that. Flagler is not letting Tampa get a lot of open looks up close. Tampa's been forced to go from long range. Tampa could be a good long range shooting team, but they're playing into the Saints' hands by blocking the lanes inside against their solid zone defense.
Yeah, that shot by Burbank is reminiscent of a basketball player about to shoot, and they see the defender coming. The defender sails by, and then they take the shot. Same thing in hockey. Someone you see is about to shoot, and the defender slides past him. And so Burbank had a good look at the net. Flagler staying strong here defensively as the Spartans now get it across midfield. And no, call from the official on the far side of the field. And so with 6:12 to go, Flagler still looking to get on the scoreboard. Over now for Linko. Top they go to Gibbs. And he sends it over for Moore. Gives it right back to him. And to the corner once again is Quinn. Sending it down to Nyberg. Nyberg being watched in the corner. Now in behind the Spartans net. Trying to work from the corner is Quinn. And a good job there defensively by Evan Gibbs. And hold on, we may have an injured Flagler player behind the net.
I'm surprised they didn't stop the play after a hit-off ball. Going down hard looks to be Will Colquhoun, and finally they'll stop the play for him. Hopefully he's all right, but visibly looks shaken.
A member of the athletic training staff out there for Flagler, and it's actually Ben Nyberg is the injured player, 29.
That is heartbreaking to see for the Saints. Nyberg's one of the leading scorers on the offense, 30 on the season. Trace McDonald, 29, Will Linko, 30. It's a big three for the Saints attack, and good news is Nyberg's back on his feet, but still visibly not looking 100%.
Yeah, at least walking under his own power. This all coming with 5:19 remaining in the opening quarter.
If he's able to run on that leg, I think he'll try to come back into the game. Obviously, it's a tourney game. Once he gets iced up a bit.
Meanwhile, Justin Conley down here to our left, waiting for the referee's whistle to restart, and he does. Conley takes it to the corner. Being watched with Brexton Carter. Conley stops, starts again, looking in front. Now gives up a pass. Dunna gives it back to him. And Burbank, a point-blank shot and sent it wide.
Great play there from the Spartans. The Saints really defending close, giving just enough room as they're kind of playing in the zone for Burbank, as that's a really nice shot up close, diving and avoiding the crease. They'll stay with the Spartans as it rolls out of play. But it was a great pass up to Burbank, and he's at a point-blank distance without a defender square in front of him, so disappointing that he couldn't convert. I think it's another good stop out of the goalie.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of Connor McDonough with the diving shot trying to crash the crease. As you see play continue here, Spartans with plenty of time still, 30 seconds on the shot clock. Burbank with a little spin move. 3 defenders go to him. We saw Burbank have a huge game not too long ago right here on this field, and there's a spin shot that goes out of play. And now it's the Spartans who are going to have to put a little extra pep in their step. Only 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Burbank looking for an open teammate. Finds him in front. Oh, what a stop there. McDonough just inches away from the game's second goal. And so now Flagler with exactly 4 minutes left in the opening quarter.
That play almost reminded me a little bit of that Frank Lampard controversial World Cup goal against Germany way back in the early 2000s, where the ball kind of right on the goal line. Hard to tell whether it went in and out. The refs were at both sides of the goal on the field, and both of them say it stayed out, so still 1-0. But that was another good look for the Spartans. Whether it's the crease or whether it's the goalie, the Saints have done just enough to keep it 1-0.
Moore and Pella playing catch up top, and now they come over to this side to Dempsey Gibbs, and he gives it right back to Pella again. Pella skips across the Tampa line. Being checked closely there to Harry Boland. They try the far side and now send it back up top. It's Gibbs in the middle and picked up.
It's a good idea from the Saints, but it's tough to force a pass into space against the Spartans defense, and they come up with it. They did have a good run on that play from Brandon Carter, though.
Driggs across the Saints line. And it's Friend. Up top now Green, who has the game's only goal. Ortega back to Green. Friend changes hands, sends it to the far side. Up top, Ortega looks back, gives it to Aaron Cho. Cho with a quick pass over. Green wants to shoot, and no shooting lane there. Nice job to stay up by Ortega. It's Kesselring behind the net. Kesselring waving his teammates to back up. Tried to take it himself and now sends it up top. Green to Friend and a bounce shot. And Smith might have just gotten a piece of that one. Only 12 on the shot clock, though. The Spartans need to hurry, as was the case on their last possession. Ortega, 6 on the shot clock. Green's going to fire it, and that one was deflected on its way to the net, and it'll be turned over on a shot clock violation. So just 1:43 left in the opening quarter. And what has proven to be a close game that we talked about at face-off.
Makes that early goal from the Spartans all the more important as there's a cross-field pass that misses. Tampa gets the ball back. It's kind of interesting to see the Flagler offense today. They've been very patient and slow, but also at times they've made some risky plays. Back at the start, we saw them take a long-range shot trying to catch Roley off guard. He's not a young enough player, I'd say, to fall for a trick like that. And here, a bit of a bold ball from the goalie going offline, and that could be costly, so it'll give Tampa the last possession of the quarter with about 10 seconds separating shot and game clock.
Yeah, I'm sure that Flagler head coach Brian Duncan is probably not too thrilled about that decision from his goaltender for that long pass that did not connect, and did not connect in bounds, more importantly. So the Spartans with 39 on the shot clock. And as Taylor mentioned, maybe 10 more seconds on the game clock than on the shot clock. There's a shot coming, scores! Zach Friend, top corner. And with just 39.4 seconds left in the first quarter, the Spartans have a 2-0 lead.
The assist to number 30, Rafe Bradshaw.
Rafe Bradshaw will get the assist. Friend able to beat Jonah Smith. And the next goal was going to be very important, regardless of which team got it. And the home team is the one that finds the back of the net.
For the Spartans, they are, I know, unbelievably happy that Friend is back for the postseason run. Only featured in 9 games in the regular season. Even without him, the Spartans, one of the best teams in the nation. But since his return, this is his first time playing since April 1st. He gets on the board.
20 on the game clock in the first quarter. Spartans certainly looking for that final shot. before the opening 15 minutes expire. Here comes Cho. Ran out of room in front, and the pass misses. Need to be quick, 3 seconds. Ortega bounces it, and Jonah Smith handles that one easily. Still, we've reached the end of the first quarter, and the Spartans have a 2-0 lead. We'll be back with the second quarter after this break on Sunshine State Conference.tv.
Happy Mother's Day to all the incredible moms.
Zach Friend and Grant Green have scored for the Tampa Spartans. We are set to start the second quarter of play. Shots on goal in that opening quarter were 8-3 in favor of the Spartans. There were only 3 face-offs, obviously, one that started the game and then the one after each of the goals. The Spartans won 2 of the 3 face-offs. There were 4 turnovers committed by the Saints, just 1 by the Spartans. So this is one of those games, Taylor, where Kyle Raleigh hasn't had to do a whole lot of work in the Spartans' net. He stopped all 3 shots he's faced, but this far into a game, the goaltender wants to have the blood flowing, and I don't really know that he's gotten that chance to really be in sync yet.
Yeah, and that's kind of a curse of having a dominant side like the Spartans in front of you on defense. You're not going to get too many forced save opportunities from the other end. The Saints, when they do get those shots, they're probably going to be good percentage looks, so he's going to have to stay ready, stay loose, keep the blood flowing. For now, he'll watch the Spartans attack go.
Yeah, it's a bit of a catch-22. You see the Spartans, the opening possession here in the second quarter. Cho. Let's watch closely, gives it up. Green tries to fight his way inside, changes hands and scores! What a goal by Grant Green. And a 3-0 Spartans lead. And watch on the replay as Green switches from his right to his left before firing this one past Jonah Smith. Remarkable play.
Grant Green, zone breaker. What a play there, cutting to the middle of the field to split the 2 exterior defenders. He's got a very powerful shot. It's why he's one of Tampa's leading scorers. Part of the whole offensive unit, who each have more than 25 goals on the season. And these goals for Tampa, very important as they get an extra cushion against the Saints now.
Grant Green entered today's game with 28 goals in 19 games and has 2 of his team's 3 goals. You would suspect, logically, that the Saints would in particular be trying to key on Aaron Cho, who was the leading point getter, although Kesselring and Ortega leading goal scorers. And this has been kind of the hallmark of a J.B. Clark program. You do get some of these second-tier players in terms of where they fall number-wise in the different categories that always come through. And that's been the case so far here with 2 from Green, as the Spartans are in possession once again.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too many targets for the Spartans attack. There are some teams where you can just mark their top guy, limit their offense as a whole. Yeah, Tampa could lose Cho and Ortega, and I think they'd still be fine on the attack, even though those two are some of the best in the nation on offense.
If you're watching from a Spartans perspective, the name you listen for Flagler is Trace McDonald, although Taylor had mentioned before Ben Nyberg, the player that got injured, he was second on the team in points coming into today, albeit 22 points behind Trace McDonald. Kesselring, and that one's deflected, and it goes out of play.
Do have an update on the Ben Nyberg front. He is back on the field after going down earlier. I think obviously in a tournament game as a senior, it's going to take a serious injury to KO you out of the game entirely. But good to see him back on his feet because he was down for a good minute after a hit.
Kesselring tried to finesse that one. I don't want to overstate it. It's only 3-0, but I think the Spartans, they're always a confident team to begin with, but you get that late goal to make it 2-0, get the early goal to make it 3-0, and you're going to start to try a little bit in terms of that shot that we just saw there of saying, hey, wait a minute, we don't need to only shoot from outside. Let's see what we can manufacture in the crease area. Saw McDonough do it in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's going to be big for the Spartans because they don't want to be forced to be a one-trick team in this game. So getting something inside, beating the zone with good play up close is going to be useful.
Pull down Linko, and that one's going to go out of play on the far side of the field. Possession remains with the Saints, 29 on the shot clock for them. Front, it's deflected, and Saints initially seemed like they were going to get the loose ball, and then looked like Dempsey Gibbs just lost track of it. And the Spartans are the better for it. And as you see, Raleigh dodge a check coming out of his net. And now turning the corner and off to the races is Forte. Crosses midfield. Forte slows it down. Leaves a pass back, and a flag is thrown. Josh Wheatsman, in the meantime, makes the pass to Bashaw.
Tampa going to slow this down.
Wheatsman had gone down. He's back up. He's all right. Into the corner it goes. In behind the Flagler net. That's Burbank directing traffic. Sends it up top. Ian Kelly. And now just jogging it slowly towards this sideline is Jacob Pages. Pages being chased. Fires a pass to the other corner. Back behind the Saints net, Kesselring. Kesselring with two defenders on him. Tried to turn towards the net, ran out of room. Sends it back behind the Flagler net to the far side now. And Pages puts his shoulder down, can't get a shot away, and the shot clock expires. But that's okay because we're going to have a call against the Saints here exactly 5 minutes into the second quarter.
That's going to be a useful call for the Spartans, and that's why they didn't feel the need to rush the shot. Although I do think maybe at the same time that on that attack, Jacob Pages didn't realize the clock was about to expire, getting some words from the coaches on the sideline. But still will be a positive chance for Tampa, and this is a pivotal moment right here because Flagler, they're a team that doesn't usually get on the board too often, a team that favors a slower-paced game, but more and more defensive. Going down by 4 is usually bad, as they actually picked up a second penalty on the play. Both the number 22 and 5 for the defense will be out for 30 seconds, Pilla and Gibbs. Going down 4-0 with Tampa up 6-4 on this attack could be really bad for the Saints. Again, thinking about how close the first game between these two teams was this season.
If the Spartans can force Flagler to play their type of game, meaning Tampa's type of game, we dare you to get into a shootout with us. I think the Spartans will be putting their bibs on and licking their chops, because here on their home field, it's exactly the game. And there's a goal right there, very quickly, 14 seconds into the penalties, and the Spartans do make it 4-0. Jackson Bashaw gets the goal, and so 9:46 remaining. And as you said, Taylor, very costly for the Saints. And we're going to have a timeout being called by head coach Brian Duncan on the Saints sideline. So we will step aside as well. You're watching NCAA Lacrosse on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
Your mobile device free of charge.
Back live in Tampa, Bruce Wozniak joined by Taylor Stolworthy, and the Flagler Saints find themselves on the wrong end of a 4-0 score with 9:46 to go here in the first half. And the average goals per game are close. 13.4, the Spartans average scoring, and 11.3, Flagler. So only a 2.1, you might as well say 2 goals per game difference. However, Flagler needs to start manufacturing some offense, keep this game close, as you see the Spartans in possession yet again. And Flagler also needs to clean up the turnover area. They've committed 6 turnovers thus far in the game to only 1 for Tampa. And Ortega wanted to shoot, lost it. Ground ball not picked up by either team, and now finally Flagler gets to it, but hold on. Spartans get it right back. Good hustle there by Tampa as Ortega sends it over to the other side of the field. Green tries to get past the defender, changes hands, sends it behind the net. Quick ball movement. Burbank. Ortega shoots, and a nice stop there as Jonah Smith got a piece of that one. Burbank puts it back into play. Cho on the move. Top to Green. He's going to shoot from way out. And a nice save there with Jonah Smith.
I really like the ball movement on that possession from the Spartans. Good stops on defense by the goalie to prevent that final chance. But, you know, Tampa got 2 good looks on the play by just trying to find some space between Saints defense. Something that Flagler struggled to on this end against the Spartans.
Nifty little play there by Flagler, but to no avail as the Spartans start right back the other way.
I think that's the 8th Flagler turnover now compared to just 2 for the Spartans.
Bomstad pass behind the net to Friend. And they work it over to the other side of the field. Stepping out onto the field is White, receiving the pass. Gets it over now for Vera. Vera, pass down low, Friend up top. And a little spin move there, but not enough room for White to shoot. Bradshaw wanted to shoot, and the Saints stopped the follow through and caused a turnover. And another flag is thrown. So a call coming up against Tampa.
I think Bradshaw might have had his stick too high on that check attempt. So that's going to be good news for the Saints. Even if this attack fails, they'll get another chance on the ball. And they've been held scoreless for the first 22 minutes.
Fella holds onto it. Now sends a pass over. There's 3 flags on the field. Now from the far side. And a backhand shot attempted by Dempsey Gibbs. It goes out of play. And so now they'll pick up the flags, and with 6:42 remaining in the second quarter, we'll see who the guilty party is for the Spartans, as the official now talking to the scores table. It looks like it's Kyle White and Evan Gibbs. So just like we saw with 2 calls against the Saints, all of a sudden 2 Spartans players sent off at the same time.
Both 30-second penalties.
Really good chance for the Saints here, but you definitely feel that Tampa can pretty much punch their ticket to the next round if they're able to successfully kill the penalty. Saints will have their best chance on goal all day.
Gibbs and White, 30-second penalties each. More, and that's going to go out of play. Just like that, there's only 9 seconds left in those 2 penalties, and the Spartans are going to call a timeout. So J.B. Clark wants to talk things over, and we will take a break as well and be back with more NCAA lacrosse after this break on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Back live following the timeout by Spartans head coach J.B. Clark. As I mentioned, there are 9 seconds left in the penalties against Evan Gibbs, Kyle White. Flagler putting it back in. Quick pass. And tried to connect in front with Linko, and the pass just missed. And the Spartans in possession as they return to full strength. Now Tampa able to get it out of their end. And getting it across midfield is Forte. Let's pass over. Down behind the Saints net it goes, and to this side of the field, this is Bashaw, who has one of the Spartans' 4 goals. Friend moves over to the other side. Cho on the move. For Green. Green has 2 goals today. And content to go behind the net and send a pass over to the other side of the field. Look out, Burbank with a chance in front. And Flagler at the last minute able to knock it free from his stick. And no, they say no goal. The crowd celebrates only briefly. And play continues as the Saints, yikes, almost fell behind 5-0.
Yeah, the ground ball pickup by Green, really good job there to find the open cage, but there was the play dead just a moment earlier, saving Flagler that time around. That penalty kill is huge for the Spartans. Again, still very early, we've got more than 30 minutes to play, but Flagler still haven't been able to get on the board yet, and Tampa are still finding good looks and a disallowed goal, so Tampa proving why they're the number 1 seed team on this side of the bracket.
Saints, and this could also be a credit to the Spartans defense. The Saints only with 3 shots on goal to this point. They have 6 off goal. And there's one that's going to go out of play on the far side of the field. Looks like there's a broken stick on the field, and there's a save made by Raleigh. Officials need to pick that up for safety reasons.
The Tampa players will. That's Gordy Gombold's stick that had broken on the previous play.
Bashaw sends it over to Burbank on the far side. They've got a good one in young Eric Burbank, only a freshman. And there's a stop made by Jonah Smith. Future bodes well for the Spartans program as it relates to Eric Burbank being a part of it. From up in Newtown, Connecticut. Another timeout, this one taken by Flagler. So we'll take another break as well and be back with more NCAA men's lacrosse after this break on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
Balance. It isn't just essential in your sport, it's essential in life, especially college life. It's everything you need to thrive in school, in sport, and everything in between. The key is just finding a place where you can pursue it all. Because the real beauty lies in the balance. If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
Burbank was 5th on the team.
Balance. It isn't just essential in your sport.
Back at the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex. 3:23 remaining here in the second quarter. Flagler in possession as Moore sends it up top. We'll try the far side of the field. Taking it down towards the far corner. Under the watchful eye of Harry Boland defensively for Tampa. Spinning a shot and they score. Trace McDonald. And the Saints finally get on the board, and no surprise, it's from their leading point getter.
Trace McDonald. His goal was unassisted.
Yeah, I mean, that's who you mentioned at the start of the game, Bruce, to keep an eye on. He's a very adept attacking midfielder, and he has a great shot up close, finally getting some space. They've only had a couple of chances on goal, and that is part of the Saints' attacking style. But now it's also because Tampa hasn't given him a lot of opportunities. In this one, he had to get it by a defender and slip it by a goalie. Tampa still leads, but after 27 minutes, that might be the spark the Saints have been desperately looking for.
This is not a very common opponent for the Spartans, but it's also not the first time they've ever seen Flagler.
Yeah, Flagler's lacrosse program has started in 2021 as a club program, but ever since it's become the real deal, they've taken on Tampa every year in the regular season. They've lost every time, Tampa 5-0 all time. First time these two teams will face in the playoffs, but notably, Bruce, they are about to become even more common opponents. In the 2027-28 academic season, Flagler will be joining the Sunshine State Conference. It won't be next year, but for the 2028 spring season, they won't just be out-of-conference in-region foes. The Saints and Spartans will be true conference rivals. And it won't be us for lacrosse either. It's across all D2 athletic events.
Flagler, of course, up in the northeast in St. Augustine. As you see a shot stopped there by Smith, chased into the corner. Smith has it and gets helped out there. And Kelly now to the other side of the field as it goes to Braxton Carter. Tries to slip past Ortega. And just like that, it's turned over. 100 seconds left in the first half. Spartans obviously would like to restore their 4-goal lead. That's a big goal for Flagler, though, to at least get one on the scoreboard before halftime.
Yeah, I mean, getting shut out for a half is unbelievably demotivating to a team. Even for a team like Flagler that, you know, they're scoring 11 points per game, but they've had plenty of close affairs in the single digits. But look at that play up close for the Spartans.
Bashaw sends it behind the net. Burbank wheels and deals from behind the net. Comes out on the other side. Burbank pass in front, scores! Great pass and a great finish. Jackson Bashaw gets his second goal of the game, and the 4-goal lead is restored with just 58.9 seconds left.
Great job by the Spartans to overload the weak side of the field with one player behind the cage and Bashaw up close. It's a tough decision for the defender, Mackay Nelson, to try to guard someone, and he probably should have been guarding Bashaw a bit closer. You can't give him that much space in front of the cage. He is not going to miss up close.
Jackson Bashaw, fourth on the team in points coming into today. 37 goals, 8 assists.
He's the overall top scorer for the Spartans, although there are some players that have become more assistant.
Yeah, he's a leading goal getter. Kesselring, and there's another shot and another goal by Bashaw. And they're getting in the face of James Haggerty. Didn't appreciate him taking down Bashaw as the goal was scored. And this is the Spartans' biggest lead of the game. Rex Kesselring with the assist, by the way. There is a flag on the field. So with 42.7 seconds left in the second quarter, not only does Tampa take a 6-1 lead, but I have to imagine that they're about to get a man advantage. And certainly that flag that's there has to be for the hit that was applied to Bashaw.
It did immediately after the hit, after the shot. One of the easiest penalty calls you'll ever see from these refs, as Haggerty, maybe a bit of a frustration foul, hitting Bashaw after the look. Tampa players do have to be careful, though, because they were backing up their teammate, getting in the face of Haggerty, but they also could have been put over to the sidelines, and the referees, I think, gave them some stern warnings telling these guys to not get too aggressively into it. But notably, it will be a man advantage after the goal for the Spartans.
Yeah, Haggerty, in fact, it's up on the scoreboard, a 1 minute penalty.
45, James Haggerty. It is a 1 minute penalty.
So an ill-timed penalty by the freshman James Haggerty, as his team has fallen behind 6-1, and now with 42 seconds left in the first half. Granted, the Saints do have the ball, but a chance for the Spartans to get it back and make this a 6-goal lead before halftime. Now, I would suspect that Flagler will try to run out the clock and maybe get a shot at the buzzer so that they don't waste it, but you're also trying to kill penalty time at this point. It's really a catch-22. You need the time to get the goals. Only had one the whole half. And instead, you're trying to kill a penalty. 9 seconds on the game clock. Loose ball. Spartans recover. Raleigh, he's going to be content to just hold on to it and let the half expire, and he does. And a big hand from the home fans as the Spartans go into the locker room with a 6-1 halftime lead, and there will still be 17 seconds left on the man up when the third quarter begins. On the other side of halftime, when we come back with more men's lacrosse on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
Visit the NCAA merchandise tent outside the venue for exclusive championship gear and memorabilia. The merchandise tent will be closing at the end of the third quarter. Fans at this time, we proudly request that any current or former members or armed forces please stand.
Back live at the Imole Family Athletic and Intramural Complex, 91 degrees is our temperature. And Taylor, the action has absolutely heated up on the field. We saw some emotion in that last minute of play as the Saints really need to kind of gain some control, maintain composure. They've got a big uphill battle here, down by 5.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for them to make a comeback happen, but obviously crazier things have happened in the world of sports and lacrosse. But it's just been the Spartans dominant on all sides of the ball today. They're clinical with shooting despite a great effort in the cage for Smith. 9 first-half saves, rallying a 600 save percentage. Raleigh has an 800 save percentage, too, 4 for 5 on the save attempts. But Tampa has won the physical battle. They've got some fouls, notably one of the late checks as well. Playoff rivalry, future conference rivalry. Wonder how those tensions will heat up in the second half.
Yeah, and there you see the halftime stats. Shots 24-12 favoring the Spartans. Now you see their on goal is 15-5 for U Tampa, and that calculates to 9 saves for Jonas Smith and only 4 saves for Kyle Raleigh. Did not have to do a whole lot of work. Face-offs 6-2 favoring the Spartans. And yikes, there's that turnover problem. 11 committed by the Saints and only 4 for the Spartans. So I'm sure that during that halftime, head coach Brian Duncan used every minute that he had. They had a lot of work to do in terms of adjustments for the second half of play.
Yeah, and obviously keeping the ball, not giving free possessions to your opponent, that's going to be a key one for the Saints.
And 5 seconds left in the Spartans man up. And Grant Green, is he going to get a shot away? No, Cho with it. And now full strength for Flagler. Ortega wants to shoot, does, and it goes out of play.
Tampa's in a position where they didn't need to rush the penalty. They didn't need to go for a power play goal. They just used the man advantage to get uncontested pressure and settle in on offense the exact way I'd like to start the second half, rolled up by 5.
In case you've been involved in Mother's Day celebrations and missed the first half, there's a shot and a save, and the Spartans get the rebound. 3 goals in the first half by Jackson Bashaw for the Spartans. 2 from Grant Green and 1 from Zach Friend. And Flagler finally found the back of the net in the person of Trace McDonald. It was 2-0 Spartans at the end of 1, and now they score here to make it 7-1. It was 2-0 after 1, and the Spartans outscored Flagler 4-1 in the second, and now they pick up with a goal 1:02 into the third. And you know, those quick goals like that, it has to make a coach, I was just talking about Brian Duncan, it has to make him feel like everything we just talked about at halftime. And 62 seconds in, UTampa has already scored. We had all these plans drawn up for the third quarter. I don't want to say they go out the window, but you really hope that your team is going to come out of the locker room with all kinds of enthusiasm, with all kinds of, create some momentum, and that goal can really be a backbreaker.
Certainly, and then the face-off loss right after it, giving Tampa another possession, is going to sting even more. But I also think, while it's going to be disappointing for Flagler, that's got to be a play that Coach Clark loves for the Spartans. What a ball from Cho to find Bashaw with a point-blank chance. I said it earlier, he's going to hit every single one of those close looks he gets. And Cho has been kept actually pretty quiet on the stat line today. Picks up his 31st assist of the season.
I was actually just going to say, Jackson Bashaw with 4 goals. And if you're the Flagler Saints, you say, we have to key on Bashaw. Once you start doing that, all of a sudden it opens up someone like Cho. So things could go from bad to worse here for Flagler. They have they really need to clamp down, find their offense, but at the same time, help out their goaltender Smith at the other end of the field and try to stem the tide. We talked about the Spartans offense, and this is where you say they only average 13.4 goals a game, the Spartans, because here they are with 7, and we're just a couple minutes into the third quarter.
Yeah, Tampa averages 13 per game, and They're defending at an even better rate than they usually do as one of the stronger defenses in the nation. After a turnover on their end, they're going to force another on that end. Great stop. But, you know, as there have been some struggles from the Saints, but I also think that Spartans really haven't put a foot wrong all day today.
This is none other than Jackson Bashaw with it on the far side of the field. Sends it up top for Ortega. We've seen Tommy Ortega with some absolute lasers this season from just inside the restraining line. So if Flagler's not on the game, we're going to back off on the wrong person, and Ortega's going to start beating him from way outside. He's happy to shoot from there all day long. Burbank pulls that one down, sends it behind the net. Kesselring to the other side of the field. Good ball movement here by the Spartans. Oh, coming from behind. Wow, and now there's a flag thrown. Brendan Watson for Flagler. And the Saints are going to go a man down again. As yikes, slow in getting up was Jackson Bashaw. And now all kinds of flags flying and bodies hitting the ground as well.
I like the maturity out of the Spartans on that play, despite so many flagrant hits to not pressure and get in the faces of the defender, because they got the warning earlier. They know not to do that. The Saints have to be that aggressive in defending to try to stop the Spartans, but at the same time, there is a bit of a limit. There's a reference from Ted Lasso that I'd love to give here, but I don't want to spoil it for you. Later down the line, you mentioned you started seeing the show. I think Tampa will get 2, maybe even a 3-player advantage here.
Well, you mentioned earlier, ever since J.B. Clark took over this program, and there's been this sense that ever since he took over this program that he's just so instilled discipline into the Spartans team, and as you just started to mention, to not retaliate when Flagler players are doing some of the things that we're starting to see. That's a disciplined program.
That certainly is, and you know, a coach with the wealth of experience that J.B. Clark has seen so many things throughout his tenure at the top of the D2 lacrosse level. He's been able to tell his players maybe some of the old war stories from some crazy rivalries in the past, and you know, Tampa are a team that has been able to take those lessons in stride.
So we do have 2 calls being made here against Flagler, a 30-second penalty against Brendan Watson and a 1-minute penalty against John Kersey. And you know, the thing is, Taylor, that it would be easy to retaliate at a time when you say we're up by 6. You know, what's the worst that can happen? We each get a penalty. I'm sticking up for my teammates, right? You're trying to justify it to your coach, and so to show that restraint is a compliment to J.B. Clark and his program. As you see, the Spartans, Kesselring gets a quality shot and is saved by Smith. And ouch, a pile up in the goal crease there. As Burbank looked like Kai Nelson was sitting on him, and the Spartans say, the way that we're going to punish you is not physically, we're just going to keep adding to the scoreboard as you see them score again. And it's 8-1 now. Tommy Ortega scores, and Bashaw gets the assist. 3 minutes, 59 seconds into the third quarter. And if things weren't slipping away for Flagler before, they may be now.
I said earlier, I mean, obviously a little bit premature to say that Tampa had punched their ticket, but after that 6-on-4 penalty kill, when Tampa had 2 players off the field and the Saints had enough players to try to get that opening goal and Tampa stopped it, it felt like that was the chance that the Saints could have had to get their foot in the door and get back into the game. And even though they eventually did avoid getting shut out in the first half by scoring with 3 to go, it felt like the Saints had the opportunity to start to close the distance and get back into the fight, and just didn't take advantage of the best chance. And Tampa now starting to pick up the distance again with multiple early half goals.
The other thing that the Spartans are doing is, number one, they're sending that message of we are not going to be drawn into retaliatory penalties. Number 2 is, as much as Bruce and Taylor might stand up at the press box and talk about our offense, we're going to take pride in our defense, and as we win, we're going to take pride in locking down the other end of the field and not wanting to give up more than 1 goal, not wanting to give up more than 2 goals, not wanting to give up more than 3 goals, and taking just as much pride in the work that they're doing at that end of the field, as you've mentioned a couple times during this game, as filling the back of the net down the other way.
And this is why I say almost that this isn't the Saints' loss right now. It's a Tampa win, flawless on all sides of the ball. And look at that, another caused turnover. We're hyping up the 6-man defensive unit, and look at them now setting up a fast break.
Burbank looked like he wanted to shoot, thinks otherwise, settles things down. Spartans are going to make a personnel change or two as Jacob Pages goes off the field. Burbank flips a pass to Ortega, who just stepped on. And yeah, 8 caused turnovers by the Spartans so far in this game. The Saints, meanwhile, have only caused 3 turnovers. Skipping across the line, Ortega, and now flips a pass over for Green. Down low it goes behind the net. Burbank on this side. Up top to Ortega again. Ortega on the run. His shot's going to go wide and out of play. A restart from the far corner. 25 on the shot clock for Tampa. Kesselring works his way in front. I've gone with gold, by the way, not yellow. Lots of gold-colored jerseys in front of the net. And so they send it down low. Falling was Bashaw. Ball is still loose. Picked up by the Saints. By the way, we haven't been giving you totals, but ground balls 11 picked up by Flagler to this point, 25 by the Spartans.
I think that statistic does a good job of painting the picture of the game as well. Tampa just winning on all fronts. So you see the 8-1 scoreline, and sometimes you'll say, oh, the scoreline maybe isn't as deserved. A couple of unlucky shots or really good saves, like incredible goalie plays, keeping this at a different level. Now I think they've just played at the level where you kind of expect them to be up by this margin. It might be another turnover right here.
Loose ball. 2 of them from each team go at it. And now it rolls out and kicked at by the Spartans, and they do come away with it. Good play there as the Spartans field is definitely tilted in their favor. And this is a tough road game for the Saints coming in here and facing this ranked Spartans team that is a perennial contenders. Taylor, you mentioned earlier about all the Final Four placings.
Those just came in the last few seasons under Coach Clark. I had a chance to talk with Coach Clark all the way back before his first game as Spartans head coach, and he said that when he saw Tampa get a lacrosse program, he knew that in the blink of an eye they were going to be one of the best in the nation just because of how Tampa are always strong across every athletic program across the board. As there's Tampa extending the advantage.
Wow.
What a goal run into the cage by Kyle White. But kind of continuing that, I mean, Coach Clark's words are really proven right this last year when all 4 of the spring major teams, baseball, softball, and both lacrosse, made their title games. For our men's team, sadly, a national title loss, but they're looking to make the first step back for redemption as they are now up by 8.
9-1 is their score with 7:05 remaining in the third. Kyle White gets the goal. Rex Kesselring picks up his 2nd assist of the game. And the face-off still not possessed by either team, and the official on the far sideline awarding the ball to the Spartans. And now it's back in play.
By the way, Tampa's had 21 shots on goal here. It's only the third quarter. The most times they've had shots in a game came against Montevallo all the way back in March when they had 44. Probably won't be able to match that pace, but they have got a ton of good looks today. You got to give credit to Smith. He has kept over half of them out.
Quick ball movement here by Tampa. Ortega to Green to Cho, and down behind the Saints net it goes. Friend back there comes out on this side now. Pass in front. Nice job to pull it down by Burbank, but he went down to the field. Oh, a nifty spin move. And Burbank stays alive. Sends a pass up top. Ortega dishes that one to Green. Back on this side, Friend, and a flag, 2 flags thrown. And Flagler is just really digging themselves a deeper and deeper hole. The more this game goes on, it started really, you might as well say, in that last minute of the first half. And they've just continued to make bad decisions here in the third quarter as the door is wide open for Tampa and their offense that has really gotten on track after what I mentioned before was only a 2-goal first quarter, just 2-0 Spartans after one. And again, I mentioned that commentator's curse where at the very beginning of our broadcast I said we've had times when we talk about this is probably going to be a close one. It ends up not being a close one. It was only 2-0 at the end of the first. And I exhaled and thought, see, I was right. This is going to be a close one. Now, not only are they up 9-1, but Flagler take another penalty here. And so the Spartans with a chance to hit double digits. And this is a tough game for Flagler, who went all the way across the country and had to win in overtime on Wednesday and come all the way back, travel a few hours southwest. And we're going to have another instance of 2 calls at once. So both Connor Dells and Brendan Oblage, they both get 1 minute each.
I think a big thing as well, when you talk about discipline, Bruce, that has got to be, I think, the thing that Clark talked to the most about the Spartans in the half. Not only because, well, he didn't need to talk about much else. Tampa had been very good at everything today. But he was probably just telling them, hey, guys, let's not get chirpy with them. Let's not get in their faces after they do a rough play or draw a penalty. Let's just keep the advantage and get revenge on the scorecard. And you know what? They've done just that to start the half and almost did that with a good save by Smith.
Aaron Cho with that shot. Spartans got their own rebound. 6-on-4 here with 30 more seconds. Pass in front. Burbank couldn't corral it. Loose ball. And they're going to say a crease violation. They're going to roll it back to the goaltender Smith. And he outlets on this side to Landis Kelly. Back to Smith. He stops at his own line. Fires a pass up ahead for Nelson. Now this is McDonald, who has the only Flagler goal. And the penalties expire. The Saints return to full strength. McDonald sends a pass behind the Spartans' net. And they'll reset up top with Gibbs. Dempsey Gibbs nowhere to go. Leaves a pass instead for Linko. He drops it off. And Pella gives it right back to him. Behind the Spartans net it goes. There's Nyberg, who was injured in the first half. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Flagler. They need to get something away, and there's a shot off goal. Goes out of play in the corner. Only 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Can't imagine they're going to muster much of anything. It's Trace McDonald. 3, 2, 1, and throws it in front. And the Spartans goaltender Raleigh intercepts, and his teammates head back the other way.
By the way, Bruce, that was the first shot of the period for the Saints. That wayward effort, not before the clock expired, but the one that forced up that buzzer beater pass shot attempt. That was the first chance Flagler's had this half on the attack. Dominance out of Tampa's defense.
That's White up top. Vera puts his shoulder down, holds onto it. Now goes down low to Friend. Quickly up top. It's corralled by Bradshaw. Bradshaw checked by the defender. Down low, Kesselring behind the net. Kesselring waiting patiently. 15 on the shot clock. Vera cuts towards the net. The defender goes with him. And they're going to need to shoot as the shot clock is going to expire. And it does. Two and a half minutes to go in the third. Nelson pushes it up ahead for the Saints. Watson. Now McDonald sends a pass over for Gibbs. A couple of personnel changes being made by the Saints. That's Pilla. He leaves a pass. On the run is Moore. And up top to Pilla once again. Pilla's long shot and might have been deflected. As that one's picked up by Yavinsky. And Yavinsky gets it ahead quickly to Gombold. Gombold with a pass over that looked like it went off a Flagler stick. I do say possession to the Saints, however. And 1.5 to go now in the third quarter.
Unlucky there for the Spartans, but they're out of position where, you know, a play like that is going to be less costly than if this was a closer margin. Does give Flagler a chance, though, to try to put a second goal on the board.
It's Gibbs. 65 seconds left in the third quarter. Sends his pass over for Linko. And back to Gibbs again. Gibbs saw a second defender and left it back up for McDonald. Nice switch there by the Spartans defensively. And nice job there by Wheatsman to not bite on it. Ball is loose and the Spartans come up with it. And they will have an opportunity for one final shot before this quarter expires, as we're down to 30 seconds in the third quarter. And here comes Wheatsman. And the officials with a call against the Spartans, so that seems to evaporate, meaning that the Saints will get a final chance to score before the third quarter ends. 12 on the game clock. Stone. There's a pass that's knocked down, and the quarter is going to expire. And so the Spartans blank Flagler 3-0 in that third quarter. After 3, they lead 9-1. We'll be back with more NCAA men's lacrosse after this break on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back live, Bruce Wozniak along with Taylor Stolworthy, and it is 9-1 Spartans after 3. And Taylor, Flagler only has 5 shots on goal total through 3 quarters of play. They need to score 8 goals just to tie the game, and yet they've only had 5 shots through 3 quarters.
Wow, I mean, that was crazy. I was about to say almost they might need 9 with that first attack from the Spartans. But that is just how good Tampa's defense has been, forcing Flagler to a position where they need more than 3 quarters of offensive output in just the final 15.
It was 2-0 after 1, 6-1 at halftime. And then UTampa with 3 more goals in the third, just how we're at our current score. And the Spartans just dominating all over the score sheet. They've caused 11 turnovers. Even in the face-off category, it's 10-2 favoring UTampa.
That could be the most important one because obviously it's going to stink to concede those 9 goals if you're the Saints, but at the same time, they haven't been able to recover after the goals because of losing the face-offs. What a check from the Spartans.
Here comes Burbank, pass for Bashaw, scores! Jackson Bashaw's 5th goal of the game as UTampa hits double digits. It's 10-1. Burbank picks up his 3rd assist of the game.
It's been a good season for Bashaw. You know, he's always been one of the top Spartan scorers. We're always accustomed to seeing him jump on the score sheet, but this is his highest goal and point tally of the season so far. We've still got over 10 minutes to play.
And you know, when you look for where can we get more opportunities to score, you do look at face-offs and you do look at ground balls, and the fact that the Spartans have dominated both of those categories. They've won 11 of 13 face-offs, and then in terms of ground balls, the Saints to this point in the game have only picked up 12, where the Spartans have picked up 33. So those are all missed opportunities where you're looking for chances to score, chances to get the ball, chances to manufacture some quality shots on goal, and you just missed out on 2 key areas of the game in terms of face-offs and ground balls.
And for the Spartans, after that late hit on the shot, I think might give Tampa the ball back on the attack. No flag on the play, so it would be even strength. The third quarter saw the Spartans win 14 of 17 ground balls, 14-3, and what was already a stat that Tampa was comfortably leading in.
And I'm never one to concede a game early. We've had too many broadcasts where we've seen teams, whether it was UTampa or their opponent, whether it was men's, whether it was women's lacrosse, make these remarkable comebacks. But when you talk about needing 9 goals just to tie the game, you've only had 5 shots on goal the entire game. When you talk about getting dominated in faceoffs, when you talk about getting dominated in ground balls, it's got to be tough to be a Flagler player and say there's still hope.
I think at this stage of the game for the Saints, you know, you'd like to spark a miracle. And as you've said, Bruce, we've seen crazier things across all levels of lacrosse, all levels of D2 athletics. But you definitely can't blame Tampa fans if they're already thinking about a potential next round matchup against either the 4 or 5 seed. That game between Lewis and Newberry likely underway as we continue.
Shot coming, and it goes wide and out of play. And Zach Friend, I think he came up limping after he took that shot. And so Flagler will start out of their own end. Bringing it up slowly. Walker Smith from up in Gainesville. Turned over once again. Spartans on the run. It's Bomstad. Left a pass back for Vera. And Vera to Burbank, who had just stepped on the field. Little burst of speed by Cho. Burbank, oh, looked like he was going to shoot. Held off and now backs up as another defender for the Saints comes charging in. Top with it, Ortega. And they send it over to Bashaw. Now Cho with it. I think if you said that the Spartans would build a 10-1 lead, and at that point in the game, all Aaron Cho would have would be 2 assists, you kind of scratch your head and wonder how that's possible. And I guess the answer is because Jackson Bashaw is going to have 5 goals and 1 assist.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like when you talk about the Spartans, they say, oh, yeah, you know, Aaron Cho, he's going to be Tampa's superstar, always the one that gets on the scoreboard, except for Jackson Bashaw, of course, because, you know, Cho hasn't needed to do the scoring. He's been able to be just kind of a pivot and another cog in the Spartans machine, and Tampa still just comfortably in front, and that's how deep this Coach Clark side is, and it's why Tampa is a nightmare for defenses. You can't hone in on one player. You've got multiple threats.
Moore looking to go one-on-one against Evan Gibbs. Leaves a pass back. Pilla. Nice defensive switch by the Spartans. They're trying to cause the turnover, and they're able to. And no, the official on the far side of the field with the whistle against Josh Wheatsman. And so Flagler, well, I was about to say we'll get the chance after all, but now the Spartans do take it away. Played back for Raleigh. Kyle Raleigh with a juke move there. Gets it up ahead. And they give it now to Bashaw.
I think now especially Tampa even more patient on the attacks. They're up by 9. Time is on their side. They could maybe try to hit a fast break if they really wanted to, but it's kind of a smarter play to let 60 seconds roll off the clock and then go for a higher percentage look.
Up top now, Vera. Vera has a lane, pushed outside, sends it behind the net. Bashaw with a pass. And streaking in was Evan Gibbs, but his shot went wide and out of play. Tampa 22 seconds on the shot clock. That's Gibbs. Gibbs being watched loosely there. Starts his move and a pass that's going to miss, and that'll be turned over, uncharacteristic of the Spartans.
And no one's going to be flawless. There have been a couple of turnovers from Tampa today, definitely less than from Flagler, and plenty less caused turnovers. Tampa's actually up to now 11 in the game compared to 19, but the big thing is the Saints have caused 3 of Tampa's turnovers. Tampa 14 of the Saints 19.
Pass to this side of the field. Jack Pella, his name has been called a lot today. McDonald. Up top it goes for Linko. Pella. Bounces on the restraining line. Now a pass to the other side of the field. That's McDonald. Back to Dempsey Gibbs, and the ball goes out of play. It's going to stay Saints ball, but there's only 17 seconds left on the shot clock. And I feel like I've had this scenario, describing it to the audience too many times today, where the Saints find themselves in the late stages of the shot clock. And you see what a good job the Spartans have been doing defensively to make them try to get something meaningful in terms of a quality scoring chance. And right as the shot clock expires, Dempsey Gibbs scores for the Saints. There's 1 second left on the shot clock, and with 7:33 remaining in the fourth quarter, Flagler finally gets back on the scoreboard.
A great last-ditch attack. It looked like maybe Tampa was thinking the clock would expire, but They have just enough room to slide inside, and from the exact same angle as the opening goal, from the left, kind of at a tough spot. It's a great goal from the number 5. And you know, Bruce, you're talking about how they had only 5 shots in the game, and they need 9 goals to close the distance, now only 8. All time against the Spartans, Flagler has not had a 10-goal game against Tampa, and they need to do that just to force a trip to overtime. The first meeting in 2022, Spartans won 17-6. Second meeting in 2023, Tampa won 22-7. Third meeting in 2024, Tampa won 15-6. Last year in 2025, it was 16-8 Spartans. And earlier this season, the closest affair all time between these two, 8-7 Tampa.
And that goal by Flagler to make it 10-2 was their first goal since there were 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. They finally get one past Kyle Raleigh. Now Finian Kelly. Spartans. Gavin Bomstad slips. Bomstad, some nifty footwork, takes a shot. And Flagler has changed goaltenders. So we now have Wade Lamon. Lamone. Wade Lamone has taken over in goal for the Saints.
I like the change to Lamone in this stage of the game. Obviously, for Flagler, it's not necessarily a performance-based substitution, but it's a chance to get the senior some playoff lacrosse action, as you know, he gets a chance to kind of take the field for the final time as a senior, and maybe a little bit lower leverage outings, but still a playoff outing nonetheless, and kind of a good way to cap the season off.
And Flagler goes down the other way and scores again. 5:50 remaining in the game. And Dempsey Gibbs scores to make it 10-3. And that's his second goal. And the Spartans will call a timeout. So we will step away and be back with more NCAA men's lacrosse after this break on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back live at the Nemoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex. And Taylor, you have to admire J.B. Clark. His team is up 10-1. Oops, 10-2. Hold on a second. 10-3. I'm going to call a timeout, even though we're 5 minutes and 50 seconds away from obvious victory. I think that's the bar that he sets. That's the expectation that he has for his troops, that he doesn't like seeing them get scored on twice like that, as the Saints have done.
Yeah, I mean, that last goal, the other two goals were well-worked goals by the Saints on offense. Not a lot of time on the shot clock, point blank. That last one, just kind of a moment of lost concentration from the Spartans' defense. Just allowing a quick play down the middle. So obviously he wants to talk it over, get them refocused. Reminds me of Nick Saban in that national title game against Notre Dame when Bama was up so comfortably, and after a lazy penalty in offense, he was screaming from the sideline. So maybe not screaming today, Coach Clark, but not the world's happiest coach on the sideline, despite what has been otherwise a flawless day for Spartans.
But even the second goal by Flagler, if the Spartans were caught ball watching because they thought, well, the shot clock is about to expire, that's unacceptable by his standards, as it should be, by the way.
Oh, yes. Always got to stay focused, play to the final whistle. And Tampa doing a better job of that on the attack. Good save by Lamont to get on the board.
Walker Smith's pass, and now it's picked up by Dempsey Gibbs. So Gibbs with a pair of goals here in the fourth quarter. That one picked up by Tampa. Desi Arup. Arup on the run, pushes it up ahead. Pass that does connect with Rotura. Quick passing shot, scored! Justin Conley answers right back. And the Spartans say, yes, coach, and they go out and get it done. It's 11-3.
Great ball from Arup to find Rotura. Great pass from Rotura to find his teammate. Good finish by Conley. That is a well-worked Spartan attack. And we actually haven't called their names out today. They've been a little bit less active on the field, but even those guys, pretty consistent performers off the bench and in the background. So good to see them combine for a little goal.
This is where you wish that it was like hockey and there was 2 assists, because Rotura will get one, Arup will not. And he did start the play and had that great pass up to midfield. Nonetheless, a 8-goal Tampa lead with 4:05 remaining. Flagler ball now as they take it up across midfield. This is Pilla. To the middle of the field it goes. Dempsey Gibbs sends the pass over. Now it goes into the far corner. You know, in a sense, though, Taylor, you kind of have to feel for Kyle Raleigh. And he had that great game going, only allowing 1 goal, and then his team stands around and perhaps lets their guard down, thinking the shot clock is going to expire. All of a sudden, it ends up in the back of the net. And then that third one, what just happened? He went from having this great game. Mind you, it's still a great game that he's going to finish with, but it could have potentially been walking out of here having only allowed 1 goal.
Yeah, I mean, definitely is going to sting on the score sheet. He's definitely responded in the saves category well enough, 4 on the day. Just hard to get to those final 2 shots on goal. By the way, those 2 shots on goal, the only ones that Flagler has had this half. He exited the first half, Kyle Raleigh, with an .800 save percentage. It's going to be lowered by a few points, but still, on a day where he's only had to defend some high-leverage chances, he's done a good job against them. And credit where credit's due to the 2 goalies from Flagler as well, with Smith putting up 16 saves, ending his day early for the senior to finish his collegiate tenure in the cage. But, you know, great stuff all around from the goalies.
This is Friend. Across the Flagler line, takes a shot, it goes wide out of play. Justin Conley will put it back into play for Tampa. The Spartans are on their way to their 12th consecutive victory.
There's 1 defeat earlier this season, a 13-14 loss, I believe, on the road against another nationally ranked foe. And since then, they swept through conference play. They beat a lot of strong opponents as Charlie Villa gets the final few minutes in the cage for the Spartans. So great stuff there for Tampa. Just getting momentum, taking it into the playoffs, and after going unbeaten until the national title game against Adelphi last year, we're going to continue this undefeated streak into round 2. By the way, Newberry and Lewis currently tied at halftime in their game. Once this game's done, definitely recommend checking that one out. The winner will face, should things stand, they probably will, the Spartans.
90 seconds left in this one. The Spartans en route to their 12th consecutive victory. Flagler, I mentioned, had come into today's game not only having won 3 in a row, but they had won 7 of their last 8, and that only defeat was a 1-goal decision. And ouch, this is not the way they would have wanted. Not that a 1-goal loss would have been acceptable. You don't want to come away with defeat, period, but to the tune of what is currently 8. 60 seconds left in the game as Gavin Bomstad, in no hurry, The ball back there for Tampa. 27 seconds the difference between the shot clock and the game clock. This is Evan Gibbs. 10 seconds now. Imagine the Spartans will take a shot. There it is, and scores from way outside. Ben Anton. And how about that?
How about that?
Gibbs will get the assist. Ben Anton, the sophomore, makes it 12-3 with 32.6 seconds left, and that was just kind of one of those, the shot clock is expiring, I'll just shoot it from here. Next thing you know, it ends up in the back of the net, in behind the goaltender, Wade Lamone.
I love that goal for Anton. Tampa sideline celebrating like that was a game-winning goal. And, I think they've got every right to, because he's a player who doesn't always get the most action. That's his second shot of his career, and he finds the back of the net.
Spartans win the ensuing face-off, although the ball is loose, and now they do gain control of it. Collision is Noah Driggs, and the official awarding possession to Flagler. 15 seconds left. Spartans, as Taylor mentioned, did make a goaltending change of their own. Charlie Villa in goal. Fans on their feet, the clock winds down. And there's the final horn. The Tampa Spartans defeat the Flagler Saints convincingly by a score of 12-3 to advance. And this one was as lopsided as the score would indicate, to the chagrin of Saints fans.
Yeah, and you got to give hats off to the best season in program history for the Saints. Their first trip to the national championships, and obviously for a program that is still kind of finding their footing in the lacrosse world.